Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first meeting of the Civic Works Committee. The City of London is situated on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabeg, the Haudenosaunee, the Lupanagwak, and the Adawandran. We honor and respect the history, languages, and culture of the diverse Indigenous people who call this territory home. The City of London is currently home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit today. As representatives of the people of the City of London, we are grateful to have the opportunity to work, live in this territory. The City of London is committed to making every effort to provide alternate formats and communication supports for meeting upon request. To make a request specific to this meeting, please contact cwc@london.ca or 519-661-2489, extension 2425. Just before I call this meeting to order, I would like to welcome committee members, our Vice Chair, Councillor Trousseau, Councillor Preble, Councillor Ferreira, and Councillor Frank. Welcome. Disclosures of pecuniary interest. I see none. Moving on to the election of the Vice Chair for the term ending November 30th, 2024. As mentioned, Vice Chair Councillor Trousseau has been appointed by the Mayor's powers. So congratulations, Councillor Trousseau.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to our consent items. 2.1 is the 12th report of the Integrated Transportation Community Advisory Committee. I would like to receive a motion to receive the committee report. I would like to bring to committee members' attention 2.1, the Oxford Street West Municipal Class EA assessment. There was a presentation and it is being referred to the Mobility Master Plan Subcommittee. So with that, I'm looking for a motion. Councillor Frank. And yes, question?
Could I make a motion to receive all of them and then just to make it easy, like we do at PEC?
So to receive the whole report? Yes, I just wanted to bring, just one moment, I'll just see how we do it here. Okay, so we are making a motion to approve all the consent items by Councillor Frank and looking for a seconder. Councillor Ferreira. And any comments? Councillor Frank.
Thank you. Yes, I just wanted to say good job on securing funding for the overflow notification website. I think that was very exciting that the province will be paying for so much of it. I did have one question about it, if that is okay. I know I'm jumping ahead, but I don't have any questions for any of the other items. Is that okay through the chair?
So we're going to go to the 2.3, or 2.5. So all consent items are on the floor at the moment. So going to 2.5, Councillor Frank.
Thank you. And through the chair, I'm just wondering, do we currently have a overflow notification system that is live, or that's why we're doing this, because we don't have one and this will be in real time? Just through the chair, wondering about that.
Thank you. Through the chair, so we do not currently have a public-facing real-time notification system. There is a system of notifications that go out after we have an overflow, but it is not at the same, frequency. It's not at the same real time that this will be.
Wonderful, thank you. Yes, I think that will be very exciting, as I know we're trying to move away from having to do overflows with sewer backups and that kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to be able to see in real time when and if that's happening. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on our consent items? Councillor Ferreira.
Thank you, through you. Let me just make sure that these are consent. Yeah, it's all consent. Okay. I just wanted to ask some questions of the River Road pavement rehabilitation item that's in front of us. I wanted to ask, so I did happen to have a chance to speak some of the residents in the small portion there right on the west side of River Road, and I do see that the project limits kind of contain, from what I believe is all the no truck area. I believe that entire project limit is for no trucks, but just knowing the history of that and speaking with individuals in the area, there's always trucks operating on that road, which I believe would probably be one of the reasons why we see the road, I guess, for lack of a better word, deteriorating a little bit faster than it should in its life cycle. So I wanted to know, at this point, I know it's early, will this continue to be a no-truck area, and will the work there, just considering the work, would that work be kind of bulking up the road so it can accommodate trucks, or are we going to continue that as a no-truck zone?
Just like to go to staff.
Yeah, through the chair, thank you for the question. There currently are not plans to change the status of the road with respect to being a truck route. That could be considered if council so directs. But the rationale with respect to truck routes is if an origin or a destination occurs or is located within a truck route, then that particular vehicle does have the ability to access the route via a non-truck route if they need to. So given the land use and the properties adjacent to River Road, there are significant truck volumes, and the reason for this project is to reconstruct the pavement to better support those heavy vehicles.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I understand that just the road itself ties into a lot of, I guess, industrial places. There's lots of big trucks like the Ready Mix, and I believe Ruby Environment is also operating in there with a whole bunch of other ones. So it's going to remain as no trucks, because I know the signage, there's tons of signage on that road that say no trucks. So I just wanted to know what the direction would be. Are we going to be removing that and just ensuring as we rehabilitate that project limit area, will that be able to accommodate the trucks just to make its life cycle last a little bit longer? I know it's early, but I just wanted to know if there's any information on that.
Mr. McRae?
Yeah, thank you. Through the project and the consultation that will occur, we can revisit that. The designation of a truck route is based on more factors than just the strength of the pavement structure and the road itself. It also tends to be based on concerns and feedback from the adjacent property owners and surrounding neighborhoods. So I think you're flagging a good item, and it's something that we can broach as we engage with local property owners as we work through the design phase of the project.
Thank you, Mr. McRae. Yeah, the residence is basically, I would say the main issue that I've been hearing is that hill portion on more of the west side, on Riverside. That would be the concern that I've heard the most with trucks coming down there and with driveways and people using those driveways with the residential part anyways. Those are what have been brought to me. So I just wanted to ask those questions now, but and I realize I didn't send these questions in advance, so I apologize for that. But I'll leave it there, and I just wanted to point those out just from what I've heard from residents, the few residents that live on River Road.
Thank you, Councillor Ferreira. Any other comments regarding the consent items in front of us? Councillor Preble.
Thank you, through the chair, to the staff. 2.1, very glad to see that, because I do travel that, I'm on that road regularly because my family lives on the other side. And there are frequently trucks there, and honestly on this road, if you want to drive, then there are some parts that you're actually, if you're on the other side, you're actually hitting the shoulder. So I'm very happy to see that. I do believe it's going to help the safety, no doubt. 2.2, I have a question regarding the RFPs. It says we invited to submit proposals for these two projects, these two organizations. And then it states city staff have reviewed all proposals. So my question is to this one, were there more proposals, or is this meant all proposals considered these two organizations?
I wonder if I can go to staff, Ms. Chambers or Ms. Ramalou?
Through the chair, can we clarify which item? So the River Road?
If you can go through the chair, Councillor. So this is 2.2 on River Road.
Yes, River Road, page 6. Stantec, AGM Engineering Ltd. and Arcadis Professional Services Canada were invited to submit proposals for this project. City staff have reviewed all proposals, including the financial and technical components, and confirmed that Stantec Consulting Limited submission addresses the required scope of work and provides the best value for the city. So my question is, if there were more than two, or why there were only two invited? What was the specific reason for that? And then it says all of them were evaluated. So my other question is, were there more than two invited?
Mr. McCray?
Yeah, so the consultant procurement process started with with the pre-qualification that had quite a few submissions. And then out of that list of pre-qualified consultants, 3 were invited to submit proposals for this project. So the 3 are Stantec Consulting Limited, AGM Engineering Limited, and Arcadis Professional Services Incorporated. So 3 were invited, all 3 submitted proposals, and out of that review, the Stantec Consulting proposal was deemed best value, and that is the recommendation in the report.
Okay, thank you for that answer. And the next one, the White Oaks. During the request for proposal process, only 1 bid was submitted to complete this assignment. Only 1 bid, so any particular reason or why only 1 bid? That you can think of why only 1 organization would bid on this project?
Councillor, this is for 2.3 on the White Oaks Complete Corridor Design. I'd like to go to staff. Ms. Chambers?
Yep, through the chair, we had done a similar process where there's a RF qual done for all stormwater projects, and of that list, 3 people were invited to submit a proposal, and only 1 did submit. There's some speculation just due to resources in the local consulting firms that only 1 had the time basically to be able to submit for this project. That being said, they're one of our most trusted firms to be doing these types of channel works, and therefore we believe the bid is competitive with what we've seen on other jobs as well. So that's why we would have liked to seen 3 bids and we got 1.
Councillor?
Thank you for that. I'm certainly 100% support local, no doubt, and I would love to support local organizations. But on the other hand, if there is only 1 or local, if there are opportunities to go outside London to get competitive quotes and organizations with proved work of high quality, do we open up outside London borders as well?
And through the chair, basically we have based on the previous procurement policies, it was every 3 years we went out to market. So anyone could submit from everywhere, and there's some firms that are not inside London that are on the list as well. These firms also that were invited to submit have a presence in Toronto area as well, right? So they're not just local. And then that process is being renewed in the new year. So it will go out to market again. And under the new procurement policy, there will be more opportunities for others to join in the list, not just every 3 years. So basically the policy has been changed, but this one still will go off. This particular project is on that same list that we had created.
Thank you, through the chair. Thank you for this, and I'm glad that because I do like to have more, as all of us, we would like to have more bids and more competitiveness and get the best deal for our corporation. Thank you. No more questions.
Thank you, Councillor. I'd like to go to Vice Chair, Councillor Trousseau.
Thank you very much. And through the chair, I wanted to ask a question about the report from the 2.1. I noticed on this report that they had a very busy committee. They received a report on the Vision Zero subcommittee, and they also received they also received a report on the mobility plan. I attended a meeting of the Integrated Transportation Committee, Advisory Committee. I believe this is the one. I attended. So I don't know if when counselors attend, that would be noticed in the also present. And if that's the case, I'd request that in the future I be added. I intend to go to Integrated Transportation Committee meetings regularly as my schedule permits, because I think that the work that they're doing is very aligned with this committee. I also would like to remind the chair of the advisory committee, and I will do this personally, and perhaps the clerk can do it too, but I will do it personally, that Mr. Khan, as the chair or his designate, has a standing ability to have a delegation if they want to be present when their report is made. Having said all of that, I'm wondering, and this is an inquiry through the chair to the clerk, would it be possible to have a little bit more information on these reports? The 12th meeting of the ITCAC report, particularly, I think I would have found it useful, as other counselors might, as the public might have, to actually see the Vision Zero subcommittee report, which was lodged with the, which was received by the committee. Is there a reason why that would not be attached to their report? And I guess that's a question for the clerk through the chair.
Thank you. I'd like to go to the clerk for the answer, or to anyone else that can assist. Just one moment. Wonder if I could go to the deputy clerk for an answer.
Hi, it's Sarah Corman here. Yes, these reports are included on the agenda that goes towards the committee, which is posted online. So am I understanding that there's a request to attach them again to the report?
That is correct.
Okay, so we don't typically do that. It's typically attached to the agenda posted online, and then these are committee reports that come forward.
Councillor?
Through the chair, notwithstanding the fact that typically we haven't done that, would there be a reason why we couldn't do that? And the reason why I'm asking this is members of our advisory committee do a lot of work on these subcommittees. And I think the public might be a little bit more interested in seeing the output of their work. And yes, while it's technically true that you could go through the advisory committee report, I get concerned when members of the public and even some of us counselors have to go through 2 or 3 levels of reports to find what we're looking for. I think that unless it's a really burdensome report that's got a lot of attachments and is really long, would it be possible to request that these types of reports be attached, or would we have to revisit our procedure bylaw?
Maybe I'll go to the deputy clerk for her comment, and then I'll go to Councillor Frank.
So, yes, through the chair, it is a possibility. I will note that when it comes to certain agendas, such as the Community Advisory Committee on Planning, that agenda is usually over 400 pages. And if we were to add that to the report for Planning and Environment Committee, that it could get to be a large print for those who receive paper agendas. But if you are looking to have links from the subcommittees, we can revisit that and report back to you.
Thank you for that information. Councillor Frank.
Thank you, yes. What if perhaps it was just simply for presentations? Last night at PEC, we did get from the advisory committee for ESCAC, we did get their presentation about the Dingman Creek EA, which was very helpful because it had maps and pictures included. So perhaps, is it possible for presentations to be appended to advisory committee agendas and then sent here? I completely agree that the entire agenda of CICP would be way too much, but presentations perhaps might be a bit smaller and also I think perhaps helpful to committee members.
If I can go to the deputy clerk, so presentations being added to the report as well as links, is that a possibility?
Yes, that's a possibility. We will look into that and report back.
Do we need a motion for that?
No, a motion's not required. We can undertake that work.
Thank you for that information. And I would just like to follow up before I return back to Councillor Trousseau. There was also a suggestion to add attendances of council members to these reports. I understand that there's a number of possible different meetings on this report, but is that a possibility to the deputy clerk? Or, in fact, I'll go to the clerk here. Thank you.
Through the chair, we do include counselors who attend advisory committees. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Councillor Trousseau was at the October meeting of ITCAC. I will make a note to check that and make sure. Thank you.
Councillor Trousseau.
Thank you very much to the chair. You're very likely correct. Yeah, that was just a lapse on my part. And by the way, I think your point about not attaching the reports is well taken because it could be very long. But I think the link would be a wonderful idea because that way I could just look at this and link right through. So thank you very much for considering that.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Ferreira?
Thank you, and I appreciate the conversation of bringing more informative reports on that aspect. I do want to also give a shout out to staff for the reports that we have because I think that they were very informative, very concise, and I really appreciated that. I wanted to go back to, I have two items that I still wanted to ask some questions, but I'll be quick. For the overflow notification website, I understand that Councillor Frank has already asked that. I do want to also give a shout out, very good clarification on what overflow and bypasses were. I didn't have that distinction myself until I read this report. But I wanted to ask, and again, another question I didn't submit beforehand, but hopefully it's an easy one. When would we expect a website to be online?
I'd like to go to staff for that question.
Yeah, through the chair, we're hoping to have that up and running early in the new year. So we have to have all this funding spent by the end of March. So the goal is to have everything up and running before then. And obviously we'll build part of it and we can always augment later. But to have that first draft and that first one visible, we're shooting for that. So say Q1 2024.
Thank you, that's exciting. And my last question on this item anyways, would you be able to provide an example for someone who has experienced backups or the like in their basement previously? How would they use this website to I guess mitigate any type of backup? So what could the information from the website, how would they use that to prepare for an event like that?
If I can go to staff.
Thank you. Through the chair, so those are actually fairly different events. So these bypasses and overflows happen either in the system or at the plants, and they're actually to protect basements from basement flooding. So this wouldn't be an effective tool necessarily for people looking to know when their basement could flood, because this is actually the relief to that happening. Typically, basement flooding occurs more where people have their weeping tiles connected to the sewer still, hence why we have the basement flooding grant program instead.
Councillor?
Thank you for that. Okay, my last item would be the pumping stations. I'm just kind of scrolling up to those. So, yes, the pumping stations. I guess I don't really have any questions written down for that, but I did appreciate that report as well. I'll just comment on that. It was very informative as well, very concise, so I appreciate that. And that's where I'm done.
Thank you, Counselor. I'd like to go to any other comments from the committee. If the committee will allow me just to make a few comments here from the chair. I want to thank staff for their reports. It's really exciting to see the work that is being done to protect residents' property and reconstruction of River Road pavement. It's quite needed, so it's good to see that going forward. I would like to just make a few quick comments on the 2.5, the overflow notification website. I too, Councillor Ferreira, had some concerns around how can we be doing a better job giving this information to the public, but I think the opportunity to take advantage of provincial funding is here, and I think it's important that we try to get as much information to inform our decisions moving forward to other departments as well. And I do think it is public facing, so there is opportunities for the public to look into this as well. But overall, the importance of I think informing our decisions is really what is needed, and this is what this recommendation does provide. It's also a great opportunity to share information with our other communities around us, in particular the Indigenous community. So I'm pleased to see this come forward. And with that, I would like to proceed to vote.
Closing the vote, the motion carries 5-0.
Moving on to our scheduled items, I do not see any items for direction. I see no items, deferred matters, and additional business. I do want to bring to the committee's attention that there is a deferred matters list. We will see it on the January report, and it does come to us quarterly. I don't see additional business, and I am, Councillor Tresso.
Could I just ask a quick question under number 5 through the chair? When do we expect the next report on the Western Road Aziz Sarnia matter to come back to this committee?
This is on the Oxford Sarnia. Any idea when we can see the report coming to us? Mr. McRae?
So the project is broken up into phases, and the design of phase 1, the improvements to Philip Aziz Avenue are underway. And the review of the rest of the phase 2 project is sort of the secondary matter for the second priority for the consultant assignment. So depending on how those two advance, we'll need to figure out the subject of the next report, whether it is an approval to go to construction for the phase 1, or a report on the evaluation of the intersection. So we don't have a timing exactly set, but rest assured, both those items will be coming back to this committee.
Councillor?
Yes, thank you very much through the chair. The reason I ask, in full disclosure, is there was a news story in the Gazette about this, and that prompted a number of calls.
Right now too. Right now.
Counselor?
I'm sorry, I should turn this off. Yes. No, seriously, so I just have people really concerned about the matter of the intersection in particular, and in even more particular, the matter of the scramble, because there was an indication in that report that a decision had been made not to proceed with the scramble, and I wasn't really sure about the story, because that might have been in reference back to what we did back in March. So I was just asking when that was coming back to us, or whether any decisions have been made.
So I would assume we were still not sure when the report will be coming to us, and I would also assume there are no decisions made to date. I'd like to go to staff just for that clarification.
Yeah, that's correct. There's a commitment made to come back to this committee with respect to the operations at that intersection, and that is definitely in the project plan.
Thank you, that's very helpful, and that clears up my question. Thank you.
Thank you. And members, with that, I'm looking for adjournment. Councillor Pribble. Councillor Frank is seconding it. We can do a hand vote. All in favor?
That's carried.
And that's carried. Good afternoon.